Lovely little guitar riff intro there, Sharky.
It was pretty decent. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome back to Driving Maul on Loud Radio. Hello. I'm here. Jesus, I don't know. Am I hearing my age?
I'm properly here today, though.
Lacquer. Driving Maul on Loud Radio, where blokes judge rugby. Sharky, after 18 months off the menu, Burger is back.
And was going bananas on Heritage Day as well. By the looks of things, wasn't he trending a little bit?
Yeah, I found it quite interesting that Burger was trending on Friday.
But not so long ago, I saw him and he still had a soft cast on his ankle.
I honestly thought you were starting to say something else there.
No, it was he still had like a cast on, but it wasn't one of those hard ones, but it looked like a cast. It wasn't like an air sock or anything like that. So yeah, good to see him out and running. I mean, I saw the pictures the other day. So, and obviously that little news of the bar bars has excited him a little bit too, by the sounds of things.
Indeed.
Indeed. There's Don's usual response to I wasn't
distracted by someone trying to walk in the studio while we're on air.
Damn that.
In other news, Jake White has turned his back on the Brumbies after 2 years, and with 2 years left on his contract, and he led the Brumbies to the Super Rugby final this year. Quite a big surprise that's happened.
Very interesting, and we all saw on Twitter that he was asked to get out of his contract, and a few hours later it was agreed by the Brumbies. So
who actually sent Ben Moen around to his house in Cape Town to try and talk him out of it.
Really?
Yeah. He hooked up with Moen at some stage in Cape Town the last 2 days to let him know what was going on. And in the meantime, John Smith is saying he would certainly add value at the Sharks. Other rumours are talking about him being lined up by the Stormers, which means Jake's playing his cards loose and fast again.
Well, it's interesting. It really and you know he's been away for a while, and I know that his family's still down here. That was his reason for wanting out, and it was
inverted commas.
Yeah, and it was given. Obviously, he's gonna come down here and work. You know, it doesn't matter where you work in South Africa. It's closer than anywhere compared to Canberra. So we'll look and see. But it's such bad timing for the Brumbies. It's shit timing, to be honest. It's they've just secured so many players, so many guys that all believe in Jake White and what he wants and what he gives and all that jazz, and now he's gone. So I hope the Brumbies can recover from that. The other interesting thing is if he does go to the Sharks, there's quite a brains trust they got there.
Jeez, quite a clash of egos.
Well, maybe there is, maybe there will be, maybe there won't, you know. That was the whole thing. We were chatting about it. I mean, I've been chatting about it a lot, saying if you could somehow get Jake White, Nick Mallett, and John Mitchell together as a coaching group and allow everyone to agree to whatever position that they possess and give the guys free rein in that position, you would be the most formidable side on the planet.
Well, time will tell, really. We'll just sit back and watch what ensues from here. Just quickly, try of the week. For me, young Matthew Morgan, the youngster that did the junior box over at the Junior World Championship. 90-meter break from underneath his own sticks with a little double jink left to right, and then charged for the corner, being hunted down by one of the biggest wings I've ever seen in my life.
Great win for Ospreys over Edinburgh in the Rabbit Direct Pro 12.
Yeah, 44-10 final score.
But what a run. He's picked the ball deep in his 22 and it's a great step, and he stepped the
pretty
10.
Much on his 5-meter line.
Sorry, I went to say on the 10, but yeah, 5-ish 10. He stepped to 12 and a funny little sort of push step. It was quite unusual. Found a gap and just opened up the afterburners, ran around a few guys, and then was being hauled in by that beast who got him.
But after he crossed the line. And then hit of the week, and this hit, if you haven't seen it, go find it on YouTube. We've just tweeted it under hashtag Driving Maul. Asea Tuafos for Taranaki in the ITM Cup. An absolute monster of a legal hit. But it was so quick and it looked so brutal that the ref called play.
It was Bismarckish.
Yeah, ref called play. Use technology the right way, Roman Pratt. I mean, what do we call him? Anyway, send it upstairs, comes back, nothing wrong with the tackle. High fives all round from his teammates. Absolutely smashed him. On to the Aviva Premiership, and it looks like torn pectoral muscles seem to be the order of the day in England at the moment, Sharky. Manu Tuilagi looks like he's out until early next year.
Yeah, and just saw now that it doesn't look like he'll go under the knife. It looks like they're going to just sort of let it repair on its own with a bit of physio, etc. But that's quite a big loss for Leicester. I'm trying to think who they've got to cover him. I think it's Billy Twelvetrees, if I'm not mistaken.
No, what, for England?
No, for at Leicester.
No, 12 plays for Gloucester.
Gloucester, you're right. Maybe I was getting confused with the England setup as well.
Yeah, well, look, it's an opportunity for 12 and Jonathan Joseph, because Barrett's also out till the end of the year.
Yeah. Joseph was actually massively in with a shot quite a while ago. When England toured here a little while ago, Joseph was in the mix, kind of fallen away a little bit. Scored a good try. On the topic of centres, that youngster it's playing for Toulon, the Frenchman, scored another great try this weekend. We'll get onto that later. But so, yeah, interesting to see what happens. When's he expected back? End of the year?
He's missing November tours. So January, February by the sounds of it.
Okay, so for the middle of the Viva Prem next year.
And the Heineken Cup. Oof. End of the Heineken Cup. On to this weekend's results. And Friday, Sale Sharks got up over London Wasps. And the man of the match with 21 points out of the 26 for Sale was Danny Cipriani. Came off the bench on 19 minutes because of an injury.
Quite early, yeah.
61 minutes on the park. He scored one try. Assisted in was the final pass in the other, and kicked a whole bunch of points to give Sale a win over Wasps 26-22.
And he missed his full ice by not getting a drop kick.
Yeah. And then Harlequins thumped Worcester Warriors with 4 tries to a solitary penalty try, 37-13 on Friday.
Yeah. I was a little bit apprehensive about that, just wondering if Harlequins will be able to step into gear after their last few results this year, and seems like they have in style.
And then bit of a controversy in this one because Gloucester got up over Northampton, and we were talking about this last week. We said Gloucester were on a hiding to nothing because they were rooted at the foot of the Aviva Premiership table. But no, they get up to win 26-24, and what a finish to this game, because the Saints had scored a last-minute try to take the lead, and then Gloucester were awarded a controversial penalty at scrum time from 35 out. Billy Twelvetrees knocked it over and gave Gloucester the win, but there's a lot of debate around the ref's dress for the scrum because nobody understands why it was awarded in terms of the penalty.
Don't get me started.
And then another close one, Exeter Chiefs and London Irish, 2 tries apiece, but the Chiefs scoring their 2 in the final 20 minutes to win the game 29-23.
Massive. It's terrible letting it slip at the end. And Irish, I mean, just remembering last year how they big fight to miss relegation. You've got to win your home games, and you've got to stop the opposition from opening up so much on you at the end.
Yeah. And then Leicester Tigers trounced the Newcastle Falcons 5 tries to 0, 31-6 the final score there. But the big news, as we said, that came out of that was Tuilagi with a torn pectoral. And then Saracens played 3, won 3, scored 3 bonus point wins in all 3 of them. 31-17 over Bath, 4 tries to 2. And yeah, they've already opened up a 4-point lead at the top of the table. With Leicester sitting in second, Northampton and Harlequins in joint third, and then Sale, Bath and Exeter floating there or thereabouts, but it's already starting to, there's a gap opening up on the bottom half from the top half. We'll see where it goes this weekend, because Sale have to travel to Northampton, who will be smarting from that loss. London Irish, it doesn't get much easier for them, they have to go to Bath. Worcester play Wasps, Harlequins, Saracens at the Stoop. That should be
gonna be
crackerjack. 3:15 on Saturday afternoon. A nice little build up to the Bokke versus
100%.
Wallabies.
I'm going to be playing golf, so I'll unfortunately miss that.
Unlucky. And then Sunday it's Exeter versus Leicester and the Newcastle versus Gloucester, who are looking to bounce to continue their recovery.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one for Gloucester as well, because coming off, they've just come off a tight win, but they're travelling away from home, and look to see what can happen.
On to the French top 14. And what were those stats that Simply Sean sent out last week? There was like a 40-odd% away wins in the Currie Cup and the Viva Premiership, and like 7% in the top 14. And Sharky was, what did you say? #Fortress. What's the French word for fortress? That was your question.
Yeah.
And talking about that, Montpellier, who've had an up and down season with 7 games, 4 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. Clermont, who, as we know, have got this unbelievable record at home over the last 3 or 4 seasons, maybe longer. Clermont travelled to Montpellier on Friday night, 43-3 to the home team.
It was a massive game. Clermont just didn't pitch up for the game. They had a new guy at fly half running for them. I think he might be from Georgia or somewhere around there. A guy I haven't seen before. Brock James might be injured, or they might have been resting him. But it all started with him conceding an early penalty and kind of abused them from there.
43-3. I mean, in a top of the table clash, essentially in the French top 14.
Well, Montpellier move up to third now. So.
I know. No, it's just a ridiculous result. Then INA continue with their impressive start of the season. They ended up losing this one to Stade Francais, but they only lost 16-15 on Saturday. Toulon Bayonne 18-12. Quite surprised at that score, considering Bayonne are floating around the bottom half of the table. But Toulon did get a win, and you were saying this young French centre.
Yeah, he's. I think he's playing for Toulouse.
Sorry, we'll jump to that.
No worries, but he's great. He scored a couple of good tries. He was in the French setup when they toured to New Zealand, and he's putting his hand up. It could be very interesting. They both play 12, but between him and I've hit a blank now. Clermont sent Wesley Fofana.
Yeah.
That two are two very young, exciting centres, and I'd like to see if one of them could possibly play at 13 and you pair both of them up. That would be amazing.
So we'll keep an eye out for it. I actually want to find the guy's name now that you've been talking about it.
Gelfico, I think.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
Phenomenal. Another great step, lots of gas, and quite exciting.
Racing Metro got up over Bordeaux 26-19. Brive thumped Perpignan 31-6 after Perpignan had thumped Montpellier the week before. It's just like, what the hell? Grenoble got up over Biarritz. Biarritz, just their season just going from bad to worse, really.
Yeah, it's not for them to take that beating at home was also quite surprising for me, even though, you know, like the homes, they haven't had a good start to the season at all.
Oh, well, they're scoring less. They're scoring less than a try a game, and they're conceding over 2.
Yeah. And then another top of the table crash.
Castres after a win last week, and Toulouse as well. Toulouse end up thumping Castres 26-9.
Well, Castres are 10th on the log at the moment, so
the champions.
So much, yes. I don't know. It's such a tough league to call, and it's literally a coin flip on Super Brew. I've been trying, I've been looking into it, I've been checking the sides, and I just like, screw this.
Well, on to the coin flips, because the first one this weekend on Friday at 8:45 is Stade Francais versus Montpellier. Good luck picking that one, although you probably have to go with a big home win based on Montpellier's form this season.
Yeah. But Stade are not massively on fire. They're going to be without a few of the internationals, and Montpellier coming off that win. However, it was at home.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And INA entertained Toulon.
That could be the game of the weekend.
Yeah,
because
all your logic says Toulon should win, but everything else says INA to push them to the end.
INA at home, very very good. As we spoke last week, they've got a last season in the B division. I don't know what it's called, but they had
the French bottom 14.
Their home ground was a fortress. They've got a couple of wins there this season. They just narrowly lost this week, second week at home against Toulon. They will be well up for that. They could also get well beaten as well.
Bottom of the table clash between Bayonne and Biarritz, and if Biarritz win that, they could basically haul themselves back into contention to avoid the last spot in the top 14. Castres Racing Metro, another one that will probably go with a big home win. Grenoble Brive, good luck picking that one. I got no idea who even plays for them. Perpignan Toulouse, that could be quite interesting.
Yeah, Toulouse should take it, but they're also blowing hot and cold. And Luke McAllister didn't have a good game last week. And he's been solid for many years, and he seems to be blowing a little bit hot and cold. So if he settles down, maybe they'll take it.
And then Bordeaux have to go and try and make history at Clermont on Sunday.
Couldn't pick a better side to take it. Let's be honest, we don't know anything. Oh damn it! I wanted to touch base about something I've forgotten already. What were we talking about? French rugby.
Rory Cockett apparently was approached by the Box, but he was injured when Vermaak got injured and hasn't been called since. And obviously there's now the talk that he would accept a call-up from the French.
What I wanted to talk about was Toulon.
Yeah.
Gave Ali Williams his debut this weekend. He proceeded to get a yellow card on debut, as expected.
Is he also at Toulon?
Yes, he is. Donny Rousseau played at 8. The wingers are under massive pressure because Drew Mitchell's just arrived, and they're expecting Brian Banner to come in a couple of weeks too. So it is absolutely off the charts. That side is just worth watching. It's like an old boys game.
Yeah, but it's like if you were playing on Xbox, you'd put it out, I'll have him. That's what they do. They'd like Roman Abramovich for Chelsea. Who do I want to play for my team?
True story.
Just break the
way
transfer
I look
budget.
At it is the owner who's a successful cartoonist, and that's where he gets all his money from. I figure he just wants to get signed jerseys by all his favorite players. So let me just buy them for a season, get them over, have a photo, sign a jersey. I can piss off now.
Well, look, that's the top 14 in Aviva Premiership. We are going to go and play a little bit of music, and when we come back, and this is we'll play some Aussie music because the Aussies are in town. A little bit of In Excess. You're listening to Driving Maul on Loud Radio. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Driving Maul on Loud Radio. Sharky, it's time to talk a little bit of Ranfurly Shield and then some Curry Cup.
Well, having just been away for the weekend, I've been a little bit in the dark, so you take the lead. I haven't watched any ITM Cup, unfortunately. I saw in my Super Brew I had a lot of those red triangles, which is bad.
Oh, I don't even play Super Brew for the ITM Cup and French Top 14 November Premiership. It's just too much for my little brain to figure out. What I can tell you is that Counties Manukau have successfully defended the log of wood for the second time in a week. So after not holding it ever, they've managed to hang on to it for 2 defences. After they beat Waikato, who were unable to reclaim the Ranfurly Shield they'd lost 4 weeks earlier. Manukau now don't have to defend it until the final round of the ITM Cup on the 11th of October against Southland.
And Southland aren't doing so well at the moment. They're third, but
in the championship, not the Premiership. So that could prove to be interesting. Look, there were lots of games this weekend. A couple of things of note, and let's just go back to Friday's game, because Otago versus Manawatu, 52-41 final score, 7 tries to 5, half-time 36-27 in favour of Otago. Absolute belter. Defence was not an option.
No. We win because we score more tries than you.
Yeah, no, exactly. The Kevin Keegan model. And then on Saturday morning, Taranaki beat the Bay of Plenty 21-3. We've already spoken about that huge hit in that one. The only other highlight from the game was a Kurt Baker try, which was actually quite a gem. I've forgotten to post it though, but maybe we'll go and find it. Top of the table clash between Wellington and Canterbury. Wellington managed to win 25-19, 3 tries to 1 in that top of the table clash. Wellington.
How are Canterbury in the Premiership?
What do you mean? The Premiership is higher than the Championship.
Is it?
Yes. It gets very weird. Okay. It's like the...
I did get I Am Johnny King's email address to ask him some questions. I sent him a message and I'm like, but I need your email address. I need to ask you some questions on the ITM Cup because I'll do the best I can.
But Wellington were reduced to 14 men with 7 minutes to play and held on valiantly to win that one. And then, as we said, Counties Manukau defended the Ranfurly Shield. They went out to win it again, 4 tries to 3, 37-25 over Waikato. Southland North Harbour, this was quite an interesting game to watch on Sunday morning. Marty McKenzie with a last-minute drop kick to win the game for Southland after he bagged 2 of the 5 tries. And also set up a couple playing at fly half. That was a bit of a showstopper, that one. Tasman 18, Hawke's Bay 19. Not a hell of a lot to talk about. 9, sorry. 18-9 on Sunday. Not a hell of a lot to talk about on that one. I didn't actually watch it. Yesterday, Canterbury 72, Manawatu 7. Milford Kerasoma. Now, you may well remember Kerasoma. He's the youngster that scored the only try for the Baby Blacks in the Junior World Cup final against the Box.
That we won, yes.
Yeah, at Newlands. He got 4 tries out of the 10 for Canterbury, with a 19-year-old Richie Moonga on debut at fly half. His first full start for Crusaders. Nice game to get it. Because of injuries to a couple of their regular first choice first fives.
A few first choices being moved up into the All Black squad as well. I'm sure.
No, totally. And then Tasman beat Northland 28-13 this morning. I kind of had one eye on the game. It wasn't a hell of a lot to talk about on that one. But what it means is Tasman are sitting pretty at the top of the championship. They're 7 points clear of Hawke's Bay and Southland. But in the Premiership, which is the one we all really want to pay attention to because it's got the 3 big boys in there. Wellington are topped by 3 over Canterbury, who lead Auckland by a single point. And then counties, basically when you look at that, you can see who your semi-finalists are for the Premiership, because counties Manukau will be in there. Taranaki are 8 points adrift of them. I know they're only halfway through the season, but it's looking odds on that we'll have those 4 teams in the semis. Games this weekend: Waikato Wellington tomorrow. That could be interesting. A little North Island clash happening in Hamilton. Otago Southland Saturday. Manawatu Taranaki. Both of those sides looking to bounce back from ugly weeks of rugby, basically. Auckland Canterbury, another cracker on the cards.
Oh, that's a humdinger there.
Yeah, I think it's about 7:30 on Saturday morning, so it might be a good way to start the day.
I'll be teeing off.
You see, You're just a bundle of fun. Hawke's Bay, North Harbour.
I'm missing so much rugby now. Damn it.
Hawke's Bay, North Harbour. Couldn't really tell you who to pick on that one. Bay of Plenty, Counties Manukau at the Rotorua International Stadium. The BOP looking for some kind of comeback because they are rooted to the foot of the table in the Premiership.
With one win out of 7, so they need got a bit of graft.
And getting pounded as well. They're averaging 3 tries a game in the wrong direction. On to the Gary Cup. And so after I gleefully sat here last Thursday and said Province would win by 6, Province went and won by 6. And I'm sitting on my couch cheering myself on and then realised I haven't put my Super Brew picks in.
Serves you right.
So I missed out on half a bonus point.
Did you watch the Province game? Most of it, some of it.
Bits and pieces with one eye.
We were chatting a little bit off air. Ref stress, Gerrit van der Heever's yellow card.
Yeah, I heard about that. I actually haven't seen it.
Diabolical. He's taken the ball, run up probably 30 meters, good little shit shuffle, bounced a couple of guys, stepped in. He's got a guy on him, and he stepped. Guys coming in to make contact straight on. One of the fullback, I can't remember his name, and he's put his arm down. His right arm down, almost down his body to kind of get a fend going, but it's straight down his body, and he's being tackled in the process. So I want to repeat, because I mean you can't exactly manage yourself so well when a guy's running at you, etc. And he's made contact with his wrist almost on the side of the guy's head. So the guy's gone to ground, put him down, and then they've played on, and the ref has blown the whistle for some form of infringement. I think it was Sean Feltzman, I speak under correction, has come in. I speak under corrections, so I don't have words just yet. Has said to the ref, I want to bring something to your attention. Please look at the big screen. Has a little look-see at the big screen. Ref doesn't really know what he's looking at. The TMO has said, please have a look at this.
The ref was paper, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was another guy. He didn't know what he was looking for because the TMO said, listen, it's there's foul play. So he's looked and he's like, I don't know where. Was it in the tackle situation? He goes, no, the next tackle. And he's like, what are you trying to tell me? And he says, there's foul play. He's punched him. He says, are you telling me that he's punched him? He goes, yes, there's a closed fist. He's made contact. It's a punch. He goes, oh, well, then that has to be a yellow card. Bang, gives him yellow card. You should have seen Groomy's face. Nick Groom was in the sort of line of the cameras, and he was just sitting with his hands in his head going, I can't believe what's going on. Van Heever standing there just also shell-shocked. There you go, 10 minutes, bud.
Oh, it just gets better and better, eh? Hashtag ref stress is just going from strength to strength, and it's the saddest part of our game, Sharky.
I know.
Anyway, on to the positive stuff, because Province did actually win I say positive, it's positive because Province won, but the Groomy with a decent try, a little pick and dart for the line.
Great scrum off try. Especially, it was great work by Province. I missed the game. I picked up a bit of highlights and wanted to focus. I obviously looked for that yellow card to see what was happening. But Province seemed to be all over Griquas, and Griquas just seemed to be holding on. Wasn't great weather though.
No, it was cuck cold in Cape Town.
Do you want to talk about some good rugby?
Yeah. Well, we can move on to that now. We'll finish with the good rugby.
Okay. I was talking about the Natal Sharks.
Yeah, we'll finish with that.
Okay.
It was a try apiece for Griquas and Province. Coleman and Dimitri Kachakilas making his return to Newlands in the blue and white tubes. Anyway, Province did manage to win it. On to Saturday, and let's just deal with the Lions getting a double over the Bulls this season.
Massive.
And in the battle of
you would never have picked that. You would never ever pick that in a million years.
No, and in the battle of the Janshis brothers, at the end of the day, they managed to land 3 kicks each, but Elton sneaks the win because he got 2 conversions and a penalty to finish with 7 points, while his brother ended up with 7 versus 6 for Tony. Interestingly, it was 5 tries for the Bulls and 5 tries for the Lions and 4 tries for the Bulls. The game was certainly entertaining from that aspect, but incredible to think that the Blue Bulls rugby is in the position that it's in. But when you have a look at their starting lineup for this weekend, you can see where they are going.
Yeah,
there's definitely a huge rebuilding going on at Loftus. On to the Sharks versus the Cheetahs, and look, I mean, I picked up my margin point in the Lions versus the Bulls. I reckon we thought the Lions would win, but to be honest, I thought the Cheetahs would go to Durban and cause a little bit of an upset. I had them to win by a couple because the Sharks have been a little bit hit and miss for most of this season. But they didn't miss much on the weekend. SP Murray with another try. He's going from strength to strength. Loazi and Volvo with a double. Haimar Williams picked one up. Timmy Whitehead on the score sheet.
Come on. 3 games in a row.
Keegan Daniel, the only forward to get a try on the day. Kobus Reinhoff picked up the other one. There was like 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 tries to the Sharks. Freddie Zeelinger nailed a few penalties and conversions. Cheetahs, Raymond Rule and AJ LaRue picked up a try each.
I just want to go back to
Leon Smith penalties, but let's go to the Sharks.
To Freddie Zeelinger, he's a very exciting and explosive fly-off, and he's been almost holding that 10 position. He's been there in the mix, and he's kind of pushed a few of the guys out. The only issue I see with him is his conversions. Also, he's kicking, and with 3 conversions out of the 8 tries scored this weekend, it's not good enough. You need to, and not good enough that I want him dropped, because I don't want him dropped, but maybe they need to look at another kicker.
But if you're only scoring 3 tries and he's only nailing 1 conversion, then you've got to...
And it has hurt. The Sharks nearly lost to the Griquas because of that, and absolutely. He missed 4 kicks. So he definitely needs to work on that. Other than that, I wouldn't touch him at all.
What it means is the Sharks sit atop the log, along with Province on 24 points each, but the Sharks have picked up a multitude of bonus points and have lost 2 games as well. So they are top. Lions sit second. Free State are third. Free State are in 4th place. They are 6 points clear of the Bulls and the Griquas, and we have got 5 games to go. No, they play 10 games each. So we've got 3 games to go. It's all on for young and old. The Bulls are saying they can make the semis. They'd have to start with a win at Griquas this weekend, who also need a win if they want to go to the semis. So that could be a cracker at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon.
Bulls away, also going to Kimberley. It's going to be hectic for them. They're a bunch of youngsters. They haven't played there before. They're not sure what to expect. They don't know how to deal with that. So it would be interesting to see Griquas getting a little win out of that.
Yeah, but let's start with Friday night, because at 5 o'clock tomorrow, Province take on Free State in Bloemfontein, and Michael van der Spey is in for Jean de Jong, who is a Bok tackle bag holder again. Van der Spey has had a few injury problems recently, but a measure of the high regard that Province seemed to have for him is that his presence in Cape Town was one of the reasons they were prepared to let Johan Sadi go a few years ago.
Was it for him?
Well, they reckon that he's coming through the ranks. So, as fate would have it, his run-on debut is
against Johan Sadi,
which could add a little bit of extra spice to this one. on Saturday.
If you, for the listeners out there, if you want to look at the youngest centre pairings up against each other, the future of the Springboks and South African rugby, you have a look at the centres that are going at it on Saturday. We've got
Damien de Allende and Michael van der Spey.
Yeah, de Allende and van der Spey up against Sardi and Eberson.
Yeah.
And Sardi and Eberson proved themselves in Super Rugby. De Allende is coming from strength to strength, and van der Spey is supposed to be the golden child. So,
time we'll see, eh? Meanwhile, Skalkberger has been benched. I figure I could say that, seeing as the press was saying that about Quade Cooper when he made his return from injury, and there was somebody else. It was like, he hasn't been benched. He's coming back from injury, you numbnuts.
He's actually on the bench, and with Josh Katzen and a couple of other youngsters that are.
Can you imagine being Josh Katzen on Saturday, sat there in Bloemfontein with Sculler on your right hand side, just waiting for your opportunity to go and have a
Brock
go.
Harris on the other side teaching how to pass.
Yeah. And then Naka Drotsky is messing with our script, Sharky. After making no changes for the first 7 games, he's made 5 this week. He's dropped Raymond Rule out of the side completely, as well as Volti Vermeulen.
Very surprised about that. Was Rule not injured at all?
No, it's dropped him.
Yeah, and he hasn't been great, but he's been looking for work, and he's been
scoring tries,
and he's been working. Yes, so it's been quite interesting. He obviously was extremely diabolical against the Sharks that he's dropped. Probably still in Durban, signing contracts.
I don't know, but the more interesting news for me from a transformation perspective is that we're going to get another look at another African tight 5 player. Freddie Ngoza starts at lock. He takes the place of Tebogo Mohoje, who moves to the flank in place of Devon Robenheimer. Pete Lindeque starts on the wing. Freddie Ngoza and Tebogo Mohoje, that could be fun to watch on Friday night.
Very happy with Pete Lindeque. He's very solid, and I'm glad that he's getting a start. The fact that Rule has dropped out of the whole squad's quite interesting. I just don't know. Just talking about guys that we want to watch out, young up and coming guys. Nizam Carr has been having a good couple of games.
He's getting better and better.
And I think I mentioned it last week. I can't remember if I mentioned it on the show that he's one of his biggest assets coming out of school and everything was the guys were saying his speed, and I never saw it and I couldn't see what was going on, and I was actually a little bit bitter. I was like, he's not doing the work and he's not this quick. Like, why is he here? And he's starting to step up on another level this week. Another one is Taz. Fozani at lock is huge.
Yeah, but that's such a big guy. And you just add him to what I was just saying about the Cheetahs and their tight 5. There's people have been arguing the point, and we've got a lot of front rankers of colour, but where are the rest of them? They're always out on the wings. But there are now 2 or 3 locks floating around. One of them can play loose forward as well. Let's not forget a certain Sia Khaleesi.
And then the Sharks have got a couple of guys as well.
Yeah, and it's Terra Mtembo.
Terra, he's a machine. But this Tebogo Mohoje,
Opa.
He's he's playing lock and now he's going to flanker. Very impressed. He's reasonably mobile. I like to see how he competes against the province Lucies, because they get through a lot of work as well.
It's going to be interesting. Just quickly on to the Sharks versus the Lions. And under 21 Sharks lock Stephen Louis is going to make his debut for the Sharks after Peter Steph Toy was called into the box squad, also to hold tackle bags. Justin Downey on the flank for Marcel Coetzee, who's joined Peter Steph Toy holding tackle bags.
We can make a tackle bag 15, I think.
We could. The Lions, not a hell of a lot of changes in their side. They named 1 or 2, and there was a few things floating around, but they're pretty much on par with where they were. For the Sharks, it's SB Marais, Odwer, Tim, Heimer, Williams, Luwazi, Freddie, McLeod, and then Terra's there. So it's Louis and Justin Downey. Everyone else has pretty much been there all season. The Bulls versus the Griquas. Griquas have made 4 changes. I couldn't really tell you who they are, but the big news that's come out of them is Pura Himan has resigned and is joining Tix as head coach from the 1st of November.
A little bit of an outside bet on Jack White. Possibly a Bulls look-in. Possibly.
Maybe. But John Dobson might not be a bad call to go to Griquas. You heard it here first. But for the Bulls, under 21 midfielder, under 21 midfielder, William Small-Smith, who impressed in that Junior World Cup and then got injured. He missed the final. They played him in the semi, tried to take a chance. He ended up leaving the semi-final quite early. But he gets his first start for the Bulls. Sampi Maastricht is back for Bjorn Besson. Guess where he is, Sharky?
Holding tackle back. Come on! I'm so good at this game. Just get me off guard. I'm busy reading you. First thing in mind.
David Bulbrink makes his first start for his new team. Andre Pollard is back from injury and he nudges Tony Janchis to the bench. Before we go to some music, let's make our calls for this weekend. Cheetahs Province, I don't know. The Cheetahs have made 5 changes. They took a pounding last weekend. They're at home. The Province side don't look like they're going to lose a game this season, but I can't see them winning big in Bloem, so I'm going to go with a 3-point Province win.
Province by 14. With a bonus point. The first bonus point win of the year.
Wow, big call. Lions Sharks. This is going to be a crackerjack because the Lions are going from strength to strength and the Sharks are going from strength to strength. And there's always a bit of spice in this one when the Sharks play in Joburg because the crowd is predominantly Durban-based.
True story. I think, personally, just looking at the backline and the guys up front, I think the Sharks backline is a little bit more settled. And I think up front the Sharks may have the edge slightly, so I'm going to give the Sharks by 8.
I'm going to say that the Sharks were an improved effort because of Peter Steph-Dustoy and Marcel Coetzee, and they're not there this week.
Yes.
And Marcel Coetzee got through a mountain of work in last week's game, but I still think the Sharks will sneak it by 2. Griquas Bulls, I'm going to go with a 1-point Griquas Shark win.
I'm going with Griquas by 2. I think the Griquas could take. Maybe. Let me go back on that quickly. Let me have a little look. See, right, Griquas by 2 it is then. Okay, so we got 2 away wins and 1 home.
And there's 4 guys that were in the junior box side that won the Junior World Cup, starting for the Bulls on Saturday.
Yo.
Or whenever it is. Time for a little bit of Joan Jett.
Oh.
Welcome back to Driving Maul on Loud Radio. It's back, Sharky. After a week off, which gave us all time to recover from Poit. The Rugby Championship is back.
And it's bad.
Yeah.
Because we are in for an absolute humdinger.
5 o'clock Saturday at Newlands here in Cape Town. I'm still waiting for confirmation that I got a ticket. Sharky, in the meanwhile, has turned down a ticket to go and play golf.
It's massive, but spending the afternoon with my mates, and then we're going to go watch a rugby better than watching a test with a bunch of strangers.
You can tell yourself that.
Yes, thank you for that. I hope they're listening.
And then 20-1 on Saturday night, you might be able to still see the screen with you and your mates in Hermanus.
Wow, no, we should be back by then. That's a great. Should be cruising and watch it from my bed. Sleep.
Yeah. 20-1 Argentina take on New Zealand at La Plata. Now, before we get into the box versus Australia, let's get on to Argentina and New Zealand because Patricio Albacetti, Argentina's most accomplished second-row forward, who's missed just about the whole tournament after getting injured in the 15th minute of the opening game against the Box, is back. Lucas Gonzalo Ambrosino comes in for Horacio Gula on the right wing. Santiago Fernandez and Marcelo Bosch replace Felipe Comtepomi and Gonzalo Tiesi. Those are the changes for them. Juan Fernandez Lobe is still captaining the side. The All Blacks know that a slip-up opens the door for the Box. And by slip-up, I mean not getting 4 tries. Because I can't see the Argentina winning it, but stranger things have happened. We couldn't see England beating New Zealand at the end of last year either, or Australia getting a draw in Hong Kong. So you never know. On to the All Blacks. 79 Test cap hooker Andrew Hoare is back in black. Second last rugby game ever for the 35-year-old. If he gets picked next weekend, or this could be his last.
He'll be in the squad. He'll be in the squad and on the bench. He'll get a run on next week. But you're quite possibly right. He's without a Super Rugby contract.
And he's 35.
At 35, probably pick up
he wants to go back to farm.
I was going to say probably, or he could possibly pick up a year contract in Japan.
Nah, he says he wants to go farm.
As you do. Couple of beers. Have a barbie.
DC is out, of course. Aaron Cruden starts. Interesting considering how well Beauden Barrett went in the in the win over the Box.
He was in great form against the Box and very exciting. The All Blacks were in a different mood that day as well. But as you mentioned,
covers more options at the back.
Yeah.
So,
a more tactical move maybe.
And then Jeremy Thrush gets to add 2 caps to his 2 caps off the bench this weekend. He's still one of the most amusing stories ever of watching a game at Newlands when the Hurricanes were in town. We were sitting like just in line with the Jan Pickard try line, and these absolute mingers in front of us were screaming, "Jeremy! Jeremy!" because he was warming up on the tram lines, and he turned around and you could just see that look of, "Oh my God, I can't believe she's tracked me down."
Oh no. There's that night drinking and look at you.
Yeah. It was gold. So Thrush is there. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same All Black side. Richie McCaw is on tour, but they reckon he'll only be fit for Soweto. They've taken a chance, including him in their 28. So Sam Cane continues even after his bloodletting in the test against the Box.
Phenomenal performance.
No, he was superb. Brody Retallick was probably the man of the match for me, though, in that game, in terms of certainly All Black forwards, because he was just ridiculous.
Sam Cane as well was great. But what will Maul Nonu bring to Argentina this weekend is the biggest question.
Time will tell. Time will tell. I personally think that the Argy-Bargies are going to give them a bit of a torrid time. And the only problem being that they're probably playing on like a bone dry track, and the Kiwis like to run from everywhere. So it's I don't know what to call it. 20-point win for New Zealand.
I've gone Kiwis by 19.
Oh, look at you. On to South Africa versus Australia here in Cape Town. And oh dear, James.
What a chop.
Oh, Bieber.
Now...
Okay, go.
No, you shoot out.
Kicked out of a Perth airport escorted by police, I should say, out of an airport in Perth after being refused access to a flight because he was as pissed as a coot after they beat Argentina.
The rumours had it he was, and then it's all come out that he has. But the biggest thing for me is he's been dropped. But some of the senior players have said, "Listen, we don't want him here."
No, don't. Well, finally, sense prevails in the Wallaby camp. Ewan McKenzie suspended the clubless, wayward yet highly talented utility back. 23, 44 caps
with the
Force.
With the Tars ummed and ahed and said no, and then the Force said, "Listen, we'll take you back on condition."
Yeah,
and you don't fuck up. Yes, we've saved some money.
That forces one change for Link McKenzie. But he's made 5 more from the side that edged Argentina in Perth.
Edged isn't the word.
James Horwell is back to skipper the side and add some much needed mongrel to the Wallabies pack. Joe Tamani is onto the wing in place of James O'Connor. Adam Ashley Cooper switches to wing. I cannot figure out who he's replaced.
James O'Connor.
Okay, and then who has Tamani replaced?
Jesse Mogg?
Possibly.
Because they've moved Israel Folau to fullback.
But he played fullback last game.
Yeah,
and the game before, and Mogg was injured. Anyway, I can't figure it out. There must have been someone, unless Chris Fawait Sartua got his debut last week against the Argentinians.
Jeez, we've done badly, yeah.
No, shocking. I couldn't figure it out at all. Anyway, Kurandrani starts at 13 alongside Lele Afano. And then Ben Robinson, who's been called back into the squad, is going to come off the bench. Many expected him to start given his scrumming expertise, but it looks like Robbo is going to come off the bench.
He's been kind of blowing hot and cold the last few weeks. He's been the best thing since sliced bread at scrum time, and then he's been as shit as they come and been dropped and been sworn by the faithful that he'll never make it back again, and now he's back in the mix. So I think Hugh McKenzie's struggling a little bit in terms of what's happening.
Yeah, indeed. So Robinson back. The rest of the side looks a hell of a lot like it did last week or 2 weekends ago. On to the Springboks. Milestones for Mornay Steyn and Yanni du Plessis. They will both run out for their 50th Test caps, although J-Dip's probably lucky to get it from the start after his cuck defending in Auckland.
But he was terrible. Let me just go back to the Nick, the honey badger.
He's injured, that's right. Yes. He picked up an injury.
How did we forget about him out of everyone?
Because he's average.
He does have the best chirps ever. I must actually find that quote of his. I will tweet it. Yeah, actually talking about Brian and Banner.
The other big story is the return of FDP to the Bok 9 jersey for the first time in almost 2 years. And the last time...
No.
In 9 jersey, I said.
Fourie Pure.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
9
Yes,
jersey.
yes, I got
And the
you.
last time he wore the 9 jersey was against the self-same opposition. So he could be well up for having a crack at them after that debacle, the Bryce Lawrence priced it, completely priced everything. And then flip, yellow card for Namava holds on to his spot ahead of Jandre Softcock Kruger.
Well, listen, you can't really call him Softcock. He's been great coming off the bench, and I think he deserves a start considering Van der Merwe kind of did his work in Australia when we thumped the Aussies. But
I just think that Mayer's found a formula, which is let Flip run over people for 60 minutes and then let Kruger come and play his open, expansive game, because he's not as effective in the tight five, but he definitely can win ball and provide chips over the top for Jean de Villiers to score tries and stuff like that.
Now, I just wanted to chat JJ Engelbrecht, a little under a slight injury cloud this week, and there was talk of possibly having Jan Seffontein and Jean de Villiers at centre, or possibly Jean de Jong and Jean de Villiers at centre. But obviously Engelbrecht has sort of made himself okay, but don't be surprised don't be surprised if there's an early change there on Saturday.
What, that Saffontein kid, for his age, is just ridiculously strong.
Yep, a lot of heart, a lot of strength, and a great rugby brain. So
the box side pretty much unchanged. The other change obviously is Adrian coming in for Bismarck. No, Bismarck wasn't dropped because of his expunged red card. It was a team decision at the start of the tournament. Mayer's been quite open about it. He said, you're playing then, you're playing then, you're playing then, you're playing then, in terms of his hookers, because he really does have 2 world-class hookers. So Busy will come off the bench to clean up at Newlands for the last 20 or 30 minutes. Other than that, it's as you were. Obviously, Ruan drops to the bench. Fourie Pure comes in. Jennifer Mark out of the match day 23. And that is basically that.
So let's just run through the side. So fullback, we've got Zane Kirshner,
Sideshow Bob,
who could easily not be there.
Yeah, but time will tell. Billy Leroux, JJ Engelbrecht, who could also just as easily not be there. Jean de Villiers, Brian Abana, Mornay Steyn, Fourie Pure, Dwayne Vermeulen, Willem Alberts, Francois Lowe, who will struggle to ever be removed from the side, all 3 of them. Flip van der Merwe, Eben Etzebeth, Yanni Duplessis, Adrian Strauss, the Beast. The bench just looks as phenomenal. Bismarck, Guthrow, Kuni, Sear, Ruan, Pat, and Jan Zerfontein.
There are going to be 2 massive cheers on Saturday. And the biggest one will be for Sia Kolisi when he comes on the park. And secondly, for Bismarck Duplessis. Now, from a tactical point of view, I wouldn't be surprised that if our loose forwards aren't doing the job, or one of our loosies gets injured, that they bring Bismarck on for Strauss a little sooner. Because I'm quite sure Bismarck will get a half.
That's a big call. 30 minutes, I reckon, be my call. But we'll have to wait and see, really. But I'll tell you this much, that I know what will happen. It'll be 60 minutes of absolutely pulverizing anything in a yellow jersey. Mornay Steyn knocking over penalty kicks and drop kicks. Maybe a try or 2. And then they'll open the taps and they will smash them worse than they smashed them in Brisbane.
I think there's going to be probably 4 tries in the first half. I think the Wallabies will get 1, possibly 2. Looking forward to the end of the game. I think it's going to be a lot tighter. I think the Wallabies have kind of, shirked off that whole, listen, we're getting a chance left, right, and centre. They've come off a win. It wasn't a great one, but it's a win, and you need that foundation. And as Quade Cooper said in the conference, player conference earlier on today, loves coming to Cape Town, loves playing in Cape Town. All the Aussies love coming here, so they're happy. And weather-wise, I know we've got some terrible weather now. Tomorrow looks like rain, but I think it's clearing up a little later.
It's supposed to be decent Saturday.
It better be. I'm playing golf. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot tighter. We've slipped up against Aussies before. I think we will win comfortably, but I don't think we're going to give them 50 or a 50-point difference.
No. But we'll win by 25. Sharky's in shock.
No, not at all. Because I'm going with 21 to the Springboks. 19 just didn't feel right.
No. and personally, I think it may well actually be more. I wouldn't be surprised if we're leading by 25 at half time.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for this. And Looking forward to it, and it's going to be the perfect stepping stone for revenge grudge match, Ellis Park, next week, All Blacks. But let's beat the Wobblies first. Well.
Yeah, I think look, as I've said already, I think they're going to, the Wallabies are going to catch an absolute pounding. They are going to catch all the anger and frustration that box side is holding inside them, because they've been extremely diplomatic. I mean, Bismarck du Plessis, did you see his quotes about Boyd? He said the guy made a mistake. At the end of the day, we're all human. The Boks have been outstanding in terms of the diplomacy around that whole event, because they could have been real whingers and whiners about it, and they would have been fully justified to do so, to be honest.
I think if you play the way the ref wants you to play, because they all interpret the rules differently, you will win the game. And I think the All Blacks have been the best purveyors of that. They know how to play to they will change their game if the ref is slightly off. They don't persist with the same thing over and over. And I think maybe that's a great step in the right direction. Just hope Jean gets more involved from a captain's point of view. But again, I'm very happy with what had happened. So, with the way it was addressed by everyone, all parties concerned.
But look, he did try and get involved in that, Bismarck. He said, what was wrong with the tackle, Roman?
As he was talking to a TMO, and then it was kind of all left.
No, Kieran Reid came in and said, is that for high and shoulder and no arms?
That's Kieran Reid's fault.
No, it was just well played by Reid. Anyway, folks, you've been listening to Driving Maul on Loud Radio. Sharky, it's been awesome.
Thank you. Go on, Boka.
Yeah, enjoy your...
completely off the topic. Western Province Club Rugby. Do you know what I found out yesterday?
What?
Super Bees, False Bay, their second team, bonus point wins every single game this season.
Wow.
How's that for impressive?
Who's their coach?
Ryan.
Vaneka.
Yes.
I was literally sat here going, could it be? Really? Is Sant their coach? Let's get hold of him. That's brilliant.
How's that?
Lekker. That's a nice way to end the show. Driving More on Loud Radio. We'll be back next week, Thursday. Enjoy the rugby. Come on, Sculler. Come on, Bokke.